Leaders, bring your wartime agendas to fruition, taking advantage of the war in 2045.
And today we're diving into a quick start tutorial for 2045. We'll explain everything you need to know if you want to get started quickly and pick up the details and icons as you go along in 15 minutes or less.
Hi everyone, it's Stella.
And Taryn, and welcome to Meeple University.
And hey, if you enjoy this video after watching, like, subscribe and comment. You know what to do. Right, now let's get to the classroom.
2045 is set amidst the backdrop of a fictionalized futuristic ground invasion of the island of Taiwan by the People's Liberation Army. Each player takes on the role of one of 6 different secret identities which are dealt at setup. And through play they can control both the PLA and Taiwanese units to influence the battles. Ultimately, each identity has its own incentives and means of benefiting from the war. And when the war is over, whoever scores the most points by their identity's unique objectives will be the winner. Through the game, but mostly at endgame, you will score victory points, which are tracked with these markers. You'll also track a separate quantity called contributions with this marker. These are mostly gained by defeating the PLA forces, but how contributions will convert to victory points depends on the outcome of the war. This is the map of Taiwan, featuring 33 ground bases and these 3 landing sites from which the PLA invades. They're split roughly geographically into northern, central and southern regions, and into 6 areas labelled A through F. The number 1 base in each area is called its core city, and it's control of core cities which determines the outcome of the war. Be aware of the mountain ranges which block most connectivity between Area F and the rest. There are 3 underlying factions among the Taiwanese population: corporate, pro-government and local support. And each ground base is linked to 1 or 2 of those factions by their colour. Players will strategically advance alliances with these factions through the game, and in endgame scoring, the combination of your strength with an alliance, which side controls its bases, and the outcome of the war will be a significant scoring factor. The war is fought by units, and each unit is a single stack in some combination of troops, 5s and 1s, and a character standee. PLA troops and character bases are red, and the unit is regular if it lacks a character standee, or elite if it has one. The unit's strength is its troop count plus the strength of its character. Taiwanese troops are green, while each Taiwanese character will have a standee base in a player's colour, and that player is the one who controls that unit and makes all decisions it's involved in, whether it's on their turn or another player's. Total Taiwanese troops are limited to strictly 50, which includes these 12 foreign reinforcements which come into play only if a specific effect refers to them. PLA troops are unlimited even by component count. At the end of setup, there will be 3 PLA units, including 1 elite in the landing sites, and 1 starting Taiwanese unit and character per player. The game plays in up to 5 rounds. Prior to each round, including during setup, 6 cards will be added to the supply. These are a face-up PLA Elite card, 2 face-up action cards from that Elite card's region, and 1 face-down card from each region. There is a turn order, each position of which has a beginning of round or during round benefit. The round plays in turns. On most turns, you'll choose a card from the supply and then play it to take actions. If you start your turn with cards in hand, and do note this is uncommon, then you'll take a card from the supply only if there's one available, then choose any 1 card from your hand to play. If you do not play a card, you pass. Choose your next turn order slot, which can be any of the 5 slots, even at lower player counts. You take no further turns this round. You can choose to pass on any turn, unless you're the last unpassed player and there are still cards in the supply. Once all players have passed, check for game end and proceed to the next round. If you play an action card, your turn resolves in 3 steps. Step 1 is gain an alliance point with that card's faction. Step 2 is resolve an effect. This could be the card's text. For a character, find its standee, mark it with your coloured base, take its troops and deploy it, and resolve any other immediate ability. You keep the card for its skills which apply to that unit going forward. For an event, follow the card text once and then remove it from the game. Or for either type of card, you can discard it to your board for a character or from the game for an event to take 1 basic action. Step 3 of your turn is incite the enemy, which bolsters and moves the PLA units. If you play a PLA Elite card, your turn resolves in 2 steps. Step 1 is perform 2 basic actions, and Step 2 is deploy the new PLA unit, following the card's instructions on the steps to take to do so. There are 4 basic actions. You can recruit, place 2 Taiwanese troops under one of your characters. Redeploy, deploy a unit from your discard pile, excluding one you discarded this turn, and resolve its effect upon play in full, except that you choose any non-PLA controlled core city to deploy into instead of the printed base. You can surrender. Add a new PLA troop to a non-PLA controlled base adjacent to a PLA controlled one, remove a troop from each Taiwanese unit present, and their owners retreat them. Or you can move. Move all of your units between 0 and 2 spaces, stopping if they enter a PLA controlled base. Once all movements are complete, resolve battles in contestant bases, and I'll explain battles shortly. After any turn when you don't play a PLA Elite, you must incite the enemy. First, add 1 troop to 1 unit in each of 2 PLA controlled bases or landing sites. Then, either lure the PLA or incite the Elite. These work in similar ways and both result in a PLA unit moving. When luring, the unit which moves forms from any number of troops from a regular unit, or the character and at most 2 troops from an Elite unit. When inciting Elite, the unit that moves is an Elite character with all but 1 of its troops. In both cases, move the unit up to 2 spaces. You must finish in a non-PLA controlled base. That is, you cannot move to bolster the PLA's position in a base it already controls. The PLA must always leave behind at least 1 troop to garrison any base or landing site a unit leaves. When inciting Elite, but not when luring, the unit picks up as many units as it can during its move, and the unit must stop moving to initiate battle if it encounters a Taiwanese unit. Finally, if you lure, place a lure token on the board, and if you incite, score the combined points on those tokens and remove them. Battles are a comparison of strengths, that is, troop count plus character strengths, after factoring in character skills. Do check them carefully, some skills apply only in either attack or defense. The higher strength wins with ties to the PLA. The winner claims the base, and in the case of Taiwanese units only, loses 1 troop. The loser loses 2 troops, whether it's the PLA or Taiwanese, with lost troops returned to the reserves. The loser then retreats to an adjacent friendly base if possible, or a neutral or enemy one if not. PLA units combine when they meet during retreat, unless they're both Elite. A character which loses its last troop is discarded, to the owner's discard if Taiwanese, or from the game if PLA. Win or lose, the player gains a contribution for each PLA troop their character destroys in battle, whether by victory spoils or character skill, while destroying an Elite character also gains contributions equal to its strength. If multiple Taiwanese units are present, they join forces to combine their strengths. Only the stronger of the Taiwanese units gains the victory spoils or suffers troop losses, although weaker troops can still gain contributions for troops destroyed by their skills. A few other effects. Anytime you reach a coloured space on a faction track, you gain that faction's reward. These are: distribute 3 Taiwanese troops among your characters, gain 2 contributions, or draw a mission card, which is another way of gaining points. There are 6 mission decks, 1 per area. You begin the game with 1 mission in hand before gaining more as the game proceeds. Each mission has 2 halves, one for helping the Taiwanese and one for helping the PLA. If you complete all requirements of one side of a card within a single turn, reveal the card and score its points and contributions. You replace completed missions to your hand from the deck of your choice at the end of each turn. You will generally keep your identity secret to conceal your objectives, but once per game you can reveal your identity to resolve its special ability. In most cases, this will be a one-off tactical surprise benefit. But in the case of the Unification Committee, this permanently reveals your pro-PLA position. Flip your controlled troops to the traitor side, and they'll openly fight with the PLA units for the rest of the game, with modified rules applying. After the 3rd, 4th and 5th rounds, check how many of the core cities each side controls to determine whether the game continues or the war has been decided. Empty bases are considered Taiwanese controlled. If the war's over, players reveal their identities and add endgame scores to the points already gained. First score faction alliances. Based on your identity, gain extra faction steps without claiming rewards. You'll then choose 2 out of the 3 factions to score, with the choice possibly limited by your identity. If Taiwan won the war, then you score that alliance position multiplied by the combined strategic value of all non-PLA bases in that colour. For the 5 corporate bases you can see here, the strategic value is 6, so 6 times 4 is 24 for blue. You would, of course, score this over the entire board. If the PLA won the war, then you score your alliance position multiplied by the strategic value of PLA bases. So from just what we see here, 4 times 4 is 16. The exception is pro-government. If the PLA won, then multiply pro-government position by remaining foreign reinforcements. Here 4 times 5 is 20. Next, score contributions. Highest contributions becomes the hero of Taiwan. And in the case of a Taiwanese war victory, the hero of Taiwan scores 3 points per contribution, plus 2 points for each leftover troop with their characters. But if the PLA wins the war, then the hero of Taiwan scores nothing for contributions and loses 1 point per troop. All players without Hero of Taiwan score 2 points per contribution, regardless of war outcome. Whale Aerospace, the arms dealers, gain a bonus point for every 2 leftover PLA troops, up to a maximum of 50 points. And finally, if you're playing as Unification Committee and you've revealed and flipped a traitor during the game, then your endgame scoring changes entirely. If the PLA won the war, then your endgame score is to score 5 times the strategic value of all PLA bases and a bonus 5 for each PLA core city. If Taiwan won the war, then a revealed traitor scores nothing in the endgame. If unrevealed, the Unification Committee player scores points in the normal way.
Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, maybe you'd like to watch this next one. Have a great day. Bye!